Hi, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, we're having a late morning this morning. Usually we're up and about 5:30 on to 6. And today we actually had a late lie-in to 7. Oh, the luxury of it. So, what are we doing? Well, we're going up to Taliban later, and we're hoping to be able to get 2 bikes for Ontong and Balangtoy. And they have been given to us by the Bean family. The Beans, obviously, that's not Mr. Bean of international fame. This is a family that have been helping with various projects, and they are particularly interested in helping Ontong, who is the younger brother of Nisa. Now, there's always, whenever you start in on helping, which is what we've been doing for quite a few months now, we are dedicated pretty well 24/7 on this now, and we've got lots of different projects going. I think we're on our 13th house now that we've built, some of them from scratch, and some of them we've gone in and helped. I think about 2 or 3 we've gone in and helped them to finish when they've been unable to purchase any more materials. Some houses out here in the Philippines can actually sit unfinished for years. In fact, that was the title that we reached for one of the houses that was opposite or in the same small compound as Pastor Gilbert, the grassroots pastor, and we called that the 4-year-old house, which obviously that was how long it's been stood there unfinished. So happily that one is finished now, and they're happily moved in, and I'm very pleased. So the other house that we've been involved in, which is all but finished, maybe for the little things that the family themselves will be interested in doing to change it, is now done. We need to go up to Ubay to get the final video on showing you the house with all its doors and windows in. Right, so that's been a great project, mainly because it's not just a straight family move-in. It's the family will be reunited. The husband at the moment has been working away in, I think, Manila. Manila is too expensive to get home for short visits, so the separations are long and heartbreaking. Well, that's going to end, and he's going to be able to come home to a finished house, and we'll have a family reunited. So that's just great news. But just looking for the subject of this video, it's really about helping. Now, what we've discovered is very much in line with what has become a favourite quote of mine of Larry Malley, who runs the Medical Missions Matter, which is a charity organisation which actually helps kids with hair, lip, cleft palate, which is actually quite more common than you might think here in the Philippines. And he's treated thousands of children and given them a new lease on life, changed their life completely. Not an inconsequential thing to be able to complain. But when we were talking once, he said to me, I was a cop for 32 years. He said, and since doing what I'm doing now, which was always my dream to help, he said, I found that putting a hard-assed bad criminal behind bars was easier than helping people. That may sound like a strange thing to say, but helping brings in an awful lot of opposition, resistance, difficulties which you would never believe would happen, that people would actually oppose you in your efforts to help someone. Well, as I always say, we never know how our videos are going to turn out at the start of every video, except perhaps this one, because I'm seated at home, and everything apart from the chickens, which will make their own noise whenever they damn well like, things are pretty well controlled. So we know that at the end of this video I'm still going to be sitting here and it's fairly predictable, right? But when we go out and we decide that we're going to do a video about something, we never quite know how that's going to happen. Now recently we went and we saw, on our way to Ubay, which now we've done, let me see, 1, 2, 3, I think we've done either 3 or 4 houses in the Grassroots Pastor Gilbert's compound. That's 4 new houses, and we're actually in the process now. Work has now started on bringing in a new well with clean drinking water and bringing it to the kitchen of all of those houses, which will be, if you can just go to your kitchen right now or your bathroom, take a bath or take a shower, have unlimited water, and only be restricted by perhaps your own sense of discipline about wasting water if you're in one of those areas, like maybe California. Well, if you've got to walk close on half a mile down a steep hill and back again carrying the water, being able to go to the kitchen and turn on a faucet for water is like a gift from heaven. And we've had people that have given us the money so that we can help the community to do that. It's a twofold, well, probably a manyfold thing, because not only are we bringing in the well, not only are we bringing water to the houses, we'll be creating a clean water well, because this well will be sealed, and it will come up to a storage place in the center of the compound, probably, yet to be decided, and then Gravity Feed will bring it to a faucet where other people from just outside this small community can come and easily get clean drinking water. Heaven for those people, believe me. So this is not a hugely expensive endeavor, and yet the change that it will be incredible. But I'm getting off the subject, because I was really talking about the actual subject of help itself. Now, help itself is a double-edged sword, because in the same way that you are bringing in great change, you are also changing the status quo. And if you are living in a community that has been ticking along quite happily for 100 or 150 years, pretty well like this. For instance, when we brought in a well just down the hill from where we live, Beth and I live, and Nanai lives, we brought water into Nanai's kitchen for the first time in her life. Can you imagine what a change that was? So we're talking about really big help, but we're talking about really big change, and people don't always adapt to that quite so easily. Now, in the case of Nanai, of course, she is absolutely delighted to have that water in her kitchen. And we've gone out through the wall. Now we built a small, rough lean-to building attached to the house, and there's a washing machine courtesy of another kind subscriber, which is changing the life of a lot of other people, ourselves included. But as I say, bringing in change disturbs the way that life has been, and that's not always it's not always an easy thing. For instance, we've had several people, you have to laugh at this, several people have sent us can openers. Now, wouldn't you think that if you can trot down to the local hardware store, or not even a hardware store, you'd go down and buy a can opener down at the grocery store where you always get your groceries. Oh, by the way, better have a new can opener. And what would it cost you? Maybe $1 or $1.50. And you wouldn't dream of opening a can in any other way. In fact, if the can opener broke, you'd say, oh well, can't open a can today then until we get back down to the store and buy a new can opener. And probably you might even have, and probably do have, an electric can opener. You just whack it up there, seal it on, and after a little whirring noise for about 10 seconds you've got a nice beautifully opened can of food or whatever. Well, we've probably got at least 2 working can openers and one or two that's broken because of shoddy materials and shoddy products that they get out here that have been I don't know, dumped on us in the Philippines from China. They break very easily. So the can opener that is used and has been used for 50 years or 52 years for the duration of Nanai on this hilltop home, she uses a knife. Now it's a scary thing to watch Nanai use a knife and my wife Beth use a knife. I've got to tell you, sometimes I start on using the can opener because I'm civilized, aren't I? And then in the end I lose my patience because of not being used to it anymore, and I say to Beth like a baby, Beth, can you open this can for me? And out comes this huge knife, plunges into the top of the can and opens the can in no time at all. And I have to admit that I have to confess that I'm too scared to watch. So, help is a strange thing. When we decide that we think that something is interesting, like we were passing the house that we've called the skeleton house, and we pass on our way to Ubay, as I started to say and rambled off, which is my wont. We used to see this pitiful house with lots of children around, and it had no cladding on it. That means it's just a frame. There was a few pieces of plywood that had been tacked on the inside rooms so that at least the bedroom had some privacy, but everything else open to the world, and it's a tiny house anyway. So after passing this house, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 or 8, 9, 10 times, we started talking about it. Wouldn't it be nice if we could just roll up there with 10 or 15 sheets of cladding and say, here's a gift, now you can clad your house. And we both agreed that that would be a great thing. And we passed it a few more times, and then eventually we stopped. And this is where you never know how things are going to go when you start a video. And we went in and we walked up the hill to this little house, and a man was cooking on an outside kitchen, on an outside open fire. We introduced ourselves and started talking about the cladding. So, well, we noticed that you don't have any cladding on it. And he was a little bit offhand, a little bit brusque. And he said, yes, well, no money. And it turns out that this is a family that had 9 children, and 2 of them died, and they now have 7 healthy, beautiful children. Mostly girls. I think that they've got two boys, and the rest are girls. So, as we start to talk about maybe we could help, we can't really promise anything, because at that time it's just an idea, it's just a wish that we have. And then what we do is, as you know, we actually tell the story, show the video, and then we wait. And sure enough, we are never let down. Money comes in to do something for those people. And so we were able to go and buy the cladding, 15 sheets of cladding, plus the bamboo strips that they need to secure it on. And we got Pastor Gilbert to take along 2 men, and along with the man himself who has the house, they put the cladding on, and it's almost finished.
And then we also cement the floor and get some hollow blocks also.
So we also have that voice, that ghostly voice that just came in into the conversation was Beth. She's editing right next to me, and we decided we'd get a few hollow blocks so that we could build the outside up a little and cement the floor, and then that would be a room that the kids could lay down on a sleeping mat, which we'll also buy, and there's another 9 lives changed, and for so little. But when we went, as I say, help is a funny thing. The man looked at me, I guess, and thinks, oh well, here's another bragging foreigner who thinks that they can do everything, and he wasn't really very friendly, not unfriendly, but just a little cool. Well, we made a video of when we dropped off the material, and there was nobody there at first other than a young lady who was babysitting some of the younger children. But we barely finished unloading the material when the wife came running out, and she was so overwhelmed at the gift that she threw her arms around me and said thank you, thank you, thank you, which was wonderful, of course. So we never quite know, and what comes up time and time again from our comments is that some people will say this is just wonderful, and then other people will look at it and they'll look at it differently. Everybody has their own viewpoint, and as I say, helping is a double-edged sword. It should be a triple or a quadruple-edged sword if there was possible. There are many edges to that sword of help, and what they are a lot of the time is that people are making judgments on whether somebody is worthy. Now, right from the start, when we said that we were going to help somebody, that went out the window. We threw the judgment card out of the window, because once you start to judge whether someone is worthy of the help, you've missed the whole point. Now, when we did the house of the 3 little girls, people judged as to whether the man who was the father and husband of that little family, well, shouldn't he have done something, or can't he work, or can't he do this and can't he do that? The judgment card. Well, we didn't take any notice of that, and we went ahead and we built a house. Now, our rule is we take down the wrecked house, get that garbage out of the way, because it usually is garbage, and we'd build the new house. Now, what the man did was he took and recycled some of the material, and he made a lean-to onto the house so that he could have somewhere to shelter and do repairs on motorcycles, which he apparently has some skill on. In fact, we're going to give him our motorcycle, which has been sitting there and needs to just be tuned and an oil change and stuff like that, and we'll give him that work. Right, that little act there prompted another subscriber to say we're putting together a little toolkit, a modest little toolkit, which will have some sockets and stuff like that, probably of a quality that he could only dream of, and that will help him in his work, because they would impress that he went out and helped himself. Help is a many-edged sword. So we don't judge whether someone is worthy. We don't judge whether someone is grateful, loyal, true. We don't judge any of that. We look at a family and we see a load of little kids. And when we see the little kids, we think to ourselves, what do they have to do with any judgment? There is no judgment on a family of children. And that's how we look at it. And that enables us to do what we do without getting into the complexities of what help and the whole subject of help does to different people. So, do we choose who gets help? No, we don't. We've said this many times. Yes, we choose to make a video of a certain situation, but then we make a video of many situations, and we then wait until the people, the subscribers, you, make a judgment on whether you would like to actually help with that. And then our only condition is, if you're going to send anything, say what you want to be done. Like, we just took 16 kids out for their first trip out to choose a dress in Alturas, and 16 kids, and they went in there, swept in like a plague of locusts, and they chose a dress, and it was wonderful. And we took them to a restaurant. They'd never been to a restaurant in their lives. Beautiful cutlery, nice plates, totally new thing. And probably all 16, and judging by their reaction, had never even seen an escalator, let alone ride up and down on one. So we're dealing in wonderful new first experiences for children, which is just incredible to watch, believe me. And so we did all of that, and we didn't judge any one of those children and their family, and whether the husband was this or the wife was that. Nothing to do with us. That's just none of our business. And none of our business on the skeleton house, none of our business on any other house. None of our business to say, why is this so? Why is that so? No, we see a lot of kids living on a dirt floor. That's judgment enough for us, and that's what we do. So help is to be made without return, without judgment, with an open heart, and that is what we do. And then you step back and watch the miracle of what that does. And the latest one, which is what I'll close with, the latest one was that we made the house for the paralyzed man, the house for the 3 little girls' family, and then guess what? The brother of the three little girls' family, the mother of the 3 little girls, suddenly finds the will and the resources to put together a 3rd house. And he did that without any help from anybody but his family, and somehow they cobbled together a house. It's actually a nice house. Now we're going to go in now and we're going to help with some materials for him to make a kitchen. You see, there's just no way of knowing the effect that these random acts of kindness without judgment or return, no way of knowing the widespread effect that it has, not on people here and not on people in America, in Germany, in Australia, where a lot of people are interested in our channel from Australia, and the UK. That brings about a feeling of kindness, and it's almost worldwide. Okay, so thanks for listening in. This has been A Foreigner in the Philippines. Bye for now.